There we are. What is good, Defenders? A 2-game win streak, beating back the Rave Green right back down to Emerald City. You know that this is the LAFC podcast, heard in 100 countries worldwide. And if you don't know my voice by now, well, hi. I'm your friendly neighborhood scarf, J.R. Liebert, sitting here in front of the world-famous Scarf Wall in Lawndale, California, about 31 miles from my good friend, best friend, and pod partner for life. He spun the wheel of nicknames today, and it landed on Philly Idol, one Christian, Philly Philemon.
With a rebel yell, he cried, Mo, Mo, Mo. And by Mo, I mean 3 Mo points, baby. That's right, LAFC on top of the Western Conference, right where we belong. Hello, Los Angeles. Hello, lovers of Major League Soccer. Hello, fans of the beautiful game. And of course, we cannot forget the millions
and millions
of Defenders of the Banc listeners. Episode 260. And whoa, 2 episodes in a row of jovialness. We are back in first place. Does anybody still want to set the ship on fire? I sure as hell hope not, Scarf.
Here's what I will say, guys. In case you didn't know, because it's been game after game. Sorry, it's soccer. Match after match after match after match. We have now reached the halfway point of the MLS season. We play 34 matches, folks. This was number 17. Yeah, wow. That's right. 17 times 2 is 34. See, I don't even think Philly realized that. I feel like we were like 12 matches and we got like 8 matches in hand on anybody in MLS because we were also doing all kinds of other things. Nope. This is the halfway point, folks. And if somebody would have came to you at the beginning of the season and said, all right, guys, halfway through the season, you are going to be 3 points clear with a match in hand of the next closest in the Western Conference. If that's all you heard, you're taking it 100 times out of 100, folks. Here we are at the halfway point, alone in first place for the first time all season. That's right, alone in first place for the first time all season. And Philly, I love where this ship is headed, my friend.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we were all falling back into crisis mode. And kind of I don't understand why. I mean, we were still positioned in a very nice place. Did it hurt to lose the CONCACAF Champions League final? Yes. Toughest loss, I would say, at this point in franchise history. I don't even look at that 2019 Western Conference Finals loss to Seattle as more devastating than what we just encountered with León. And it's going to take a little while to overcome that. And I guess it started to do so. And we're starting to operate a little more efficiently, even though we are sort of dragging on the pitch with a depleted lineup that's hurt or on international duty. But if crisis mode is being in third place, then boy, are we spoiled. And may we never go back into that crisis mode again.
Yeah, speaking of being spoiled, we want to make sure we remind everybody how spoiled we are as part of the Flex family. You guys, flexpowertools.com for all of your Flex Power Tools needs. But more importantly, you guys, we just got the rundown from our good people over at Flex. We are going to be giving away so many tools in the near future. We have such a cool lineup of stuff that we are going to give away. And all you're going to have to do is make a small donation to the Mo Facio Futsal Court Foundation. That's right. We have a ton of tools to give away over the rest of this MLS season. And we're going to tie that in with the fundraiser. Right now, though, by the way, head on over to LAFC.com/Mo-Facio if you want to donate. And I mean, Philly, is there any doubt as to what my number is going to be? My number is going to be 53. 53. The amount of seconds that it took for Mati Bogusz to say, hey, we're good. We're good. I got you. 53 seconds. So why don't you head on over to LAFC.com/Mo-Facio and donate $53 in honor of Mati Bogusz's goal, which was, of course, the second fastest goal in LAFC history. Philly, your number.
53, you say?
53.
Because judging by my calculations, Scarf, and I was witnessing everything unfold from a position not much further than you were watching it unfold. 52 seconds is when he actually kicked the ball.
Correct.
52 seconds. So 53, yeah, it took a second to get there. But I'm going to go with 52, not because I'm trying to undercut you on a philanthropic endeavor. I'm just thinking, hey, it came off of his foot. He kicked it at 52. That would be the number to go. And I'm not talking about 52 cents.
And by the way, LAFC's PR, I just looked, they have it at 54 seconds. So donate whatever the hell you want around $50 and we'll be happy. But go ahead, Philly. I apologize.
Oh, that's it. And as far as the foundation is concerned, I wanted to make sure we shouted something out. Obviously, we love getting our hair done in this world. And always give a shout out to our good friend, Isis Black and Gold. She's got she's voted the best barbershop in Burbank. Always give a shout out to her. But our good buddy Stacks, who cuts the hair of the LAFC players, John McCarthy, Aaron Long, the name, just a couple. He's doing a really cool thing. El Jefe _ is his DM, not his DM, his Instagram handle. And what he's doing, and I'm going to read the message. Dear clients, friends, and everybody else, this Saturday I will be cutting hair. Send me a message to book your appointment. I will be making a donation to the LAFC Foundation to help build the Mauricio Facio Memorial Futsal Court. All proceeds from haircuts this weekend will go directly to that fund. Thank you in advance. He gets the players to look fresh and clean. He could get y'all to look fresh and clean. And all those proceeds are going to the Mo Futsal Court. So hit up our buddy, El Jefe _Stacks on Instagram so you can get a dope haircut and also a donation to Mo's Futsal Court.
I love it, man. That's exactly what y'all should do out there. Want to take some time here at the top of the episode because it is now 1:29 a.m.
Good Lord.
On June 22nd. That's Thursday, June 22nd. By the way. Yeah, this is you. This is interesting. I don't know where you went, but you were gone for like an hour.
I blame Nina. This is all your girlfriend's fault.
No. I blame you. So Thursday, June 22nd is also the birthday of a beloved friend of ours, Jonathan Reimer, the good doctor himself. I think Philly's about to press a button.
Whoops.
He didn't press a button. The machine. Hey, there we go.
I literally had to press the button to put our windows up at the beginning of the pod and turn on the volume of the sound effects.
Oh,
I'm tired. I've been doing all kinds of weird things today. Scarf, I told you something weird I did, and I these late nights.
Let's finish saying happy birthday to our buddy Jonathan Reimer first. Joining you and I, Philly, I believe, if I am correct, on the fourth floor is one Jonathan Reimer. You guys at Boozology, if you're on the social media. But if you're in the North End, he's the D9U gringo, the ultra gringo for District 9 Ultras. Co-host of Shoulder to Shoulder podcast, the color man to Philly's play-by-play for the Empire Strikers of the MASL. But more than all of that, Jonathan is one of the genuinely good humans in this world. And by the way, you could ask him about the most obscure alcoholic beverage produced by like a team of monks up in the hills of a castle up in Bavaria somewhere. And he'll not only tell you everything you want to know about that beverage, but he'll tell you 17 others that are just like it and 14 more that you should totally try. One of the smartest people I have ever met. Incredible. That's why they call him the boozologist. But more importantly, it's his birthday. We want to wish you a happy birthday. You're old. You're old. Welcome to the fourth floor. You're old.
Yes, we've been expecting you, Reimer. Without a doubt, one of the most incredible people that I have not just met because of LAFC, just one of the most incredible people I have met in my life. Yeah. I feel like a good portion of the year, I either spend it with you, Scarf, and then the other portion of the year, I spend it with Jonathan. I spend an awful lot of time with Jonathan during the indoor season, and it sucks because we don't get to spend as much time with him during the non-indoor season. But I've grown to love Jonathan Reimer just nearly nearly on the level as you, Scarf. I mean, this is a brother in arms, somebody who I know always has my back, one of the greatest human beings ever. And I'm not just using that expression because it's one that Scarf uses quite frequently to discuss everybody from John Thornton to Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know, just putting names together. He doesn't know Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe's dead. It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm going crazy. Leave me alone. I love Jonathan Reimer. There's nothing I wouldn't do for that guy. And if y'all don't know him, listen to Shoulder, or come check out the broadcast of the MASL that him and I do together. He is a wonderful human being. I call him the doctor because the man's got a PhD in personality. You're right. One of the smartest people. His skills are insane. He can smell a bottle of wine and tell you exactly what plant, fruit, grape tree it fell off of in whatever obscure part of Western France. It blows my mind. The dude's a sommelier. He's a heavy metal extraordinaire. He really is one of the greatest human beings ever. And yes, we welcome you happily to this very exclusive club, the Fourth Floor. Love you, buddy. Happy birthday. I know you're going to listen to this. And I love you, homie. Can't wait to celebrate with you.
Crazy story. Edgar Allan Poe made it to the fourth floor. He also passed away at 40. It's kind of crazy that you bring up Edgar Allan Poe. He made it to the fourth floor and lasted about 7-8 months on that fourth floor. So
he also drank way more than all three of us at our peak combined.
Yeah, he likely had those opiates and everything else going on to it too. Either way, you guys, episode 260, we are talking about our second win in a row. Oh, it feels so nice to be back on the right side of things. But let's check in with a couple of our guys to see how they did on their international duty. Denny Bwanga, it's not looking good for Gabon right now. They suffer a 2-0 loss to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He played 74 minutes before subbing off in that loss. Playing right next to him, by the way, is Aaron Bupenza, who is about to make his way on over to FC Cincinnati. And, of course, on the opposite side of him, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 2-0 loss. But Jose Cifuentes, today is Thursday. The game was played on Wednesday. Jose Cifuentes and Ecuador played Costa Rica on Tuesday, and he actually got the assist on the second goal in their 3-1 win. Jose Cifuentes logging some serious frequent flyer miles to get back to this game and eventually did get in it. More on that in a little bit. But that's about it, unfortunately, for the international roundup. We thought we would be hit a little bit more with the duty bug, obviously, with Daniel Maldonado, and that one didn't really come through. With Cheeky Palacios, that one didn't really happen, and no idea what's going on with Mahalo Opoku because obviously he played today and he's been playing for us. So it's just been a kind of a weird international duty roundup, Philly. But we're definitely looking forward to some international duty for our women sometime soon. More on that in a minute. Let's do a very quick this day in LAFC history. The match occurred on the 21st. I know it's already the 22nd, but the match occurred on the 21st. And on the 21st in 2019, Carlos Vela and Walker Zimmerman were both named to the 2019 All-Star Fan 11. Carlos Vela was also named to the EA Sports FIFA 2019 quote-unquote rest of the world team of the season. That's basically guys that don't come from any of the big leagues. So MLS, not considered a big league, at least at that time. He was the only Major League Soccer player named on the rest of the world team. That is this day in LAFC history. Philly, lots of news and notes to go over. And I kind of held my breath because I thought we were seeing the return of one Pancho Ginella, but not so fast.
No, I think you should talk about something else because I have to prepare for Pancho Ginella. No, seriously, you in the order. I would like to stick to the order of the script. So you go through Diego Rosales, and I have to be ready for Pancho Ginella. So carry on.
I think there's a prop. Oh man, this is why you have to watch us on YouTube. Diego Rosales is black and gold. He's literally putting on a poncho right now. Diego Rosales is black and gold. LAFC announced our 5th homegrown signing in club history. Of course, Christian Torres, Tony Leone, Eric Dueñas, and Nathan Ordaz. With the signing of Diego Rosales, the native of Southgate inked a deal through the end of 2023. I just can't with Philly right now. With options through 2026. Rosales had been called up twice with short-term loans this season, appearing in both of our 2023 U.S. Open Cup matches. And he was also eligible for selection in our MLS matches on May 18th and 21st, but he went unused in the 18. Philly, Diego Rosales, much like Eric Duenas, has been with LAFC since our inaugural U12 Academy team in 2016. And Philly, you know what I didn't realize? Jesus. You know what I didn't realize when we announced the signing of Diego Rosales? Diego Rosales made his unofficial first team debut back in 2020 at the age of 14. He subbed on in the Peñarol match. Diego Rosales, at 14 years old, played against Peñarol. He checked in at the 68-minute mark for Tony Leone in our 2-0 win. He was 14 years old when he donned the crest for the first team for the first time. 14 years old, Philly. How cool is that now Diego Rosales is a first-teamer signing a contract through 2026 potentially. But I have a bit of a rant, Philly. I know you're the rant guy. And I now know you're wearing a poncho. I now know you're wearing a poncho, so I'm gonna draw this out a little bit because I know it's nice and warm in Phil the Monster Studios with you wearing that poncho right now. But I want to say something to all the people on Twitter and on social media that got upset that we quote unquote wasted the domestic mail invite for somebody like Diego Rosales. What? This kid is 17 years old. He signed a first team contract, not a small loan call up or a short-term loan call up. No. He signed a first team contract. He signed a first team contract. Go back to when you were 17, or also it doesn't matter how old you were. And you go in after a job interview, and a couple weeks later, you get a phone call, and you're offered a job. You're offered a job. Do you not celebrate with your family if you decide to take that job? Do you not call all your friends and say, hey, I was out of work and now I got the job? Not that Diego Rosales was out of work. No, you celebrate the victories in life. Where are we at if you on Twitter feel like it is okay to bash LAFC and this poor 17-year-old kid, Diego Rosales, who, by the way, is a professional athlete and you are not? But who are you to bash LAFC or Diego Rosales for quote unquote wasting a domestic mail invitation? Get out. This is not, we don't need you on the bandwagon. If you're going to get upset at a 17-year-old kid and an organization for announcing a victory like this, someone who has been with the club since 2016 as a 12-year-old, come on, dude. I was so disappointed in LAFC Twitter today. I know, shocker. But I was so disappointed in LAFC Twitter when I read all of the comments after we announced the domestic mail signing and then, of course, the Diego Rosales signing. All those people, oh, you wasted it on this? Get bent. Seriously, all of you out there that were complaining about this, you go ahead and put in half the work that this kid has put in to make the first team and to grind all the way up from the U12s to now he is going to play and represent the black and gold at BMO Stadium. Get out. Get out. He's joining Eric Duenas, Nathan Ordaz, Christian Torres, and Tony Leone as the fifth homegrown signing, and we at Defenders couldn't be happier for him.
I completely agree. I don't need to expand upon what you said because I share the same sentiments. I'm just going to be a little bit more subtle on my message to all those people. For that, you'd have to watch the pod and see me scratch my forehead with a message to all of them. I hear you. Disgusting and repulsive to even say that. Enjoy whatever miserable ass life y'all have. This kid's 17, enjoying his. That's all we're going to say about that. Moving along. LAFC exercised the option on what I'm wearing, Janela, and they extended his loan. For those wondering where the heck he's been at Nacional down in Uruguay. The problem is he's been hurt quite frequently and consistently on that team. And every time I feel like he's building things up, we hear about another injury. So we We loaned him. He's going to be there through June of 2024, and he recently fractured his ankle playing in the Copa Libertadores. So he won't be seen playing on the pitch anytime soon. He's out for another 4 to 6 months. It's really unfortunate because the kid showed a little bit of promise. And I'm not wearing this to mock him. There's also, I wanted to wear this because we're talking about Seattle, a place that's known for wearing ponchos. More on that later. But yeah, that's a bit of the news. And I figured, hey, get to use off the most stadium. So if we're going to talk about Chanella, I'm going to wear a poncho. And there it is.
I'm proud of you, buddy. Let me get into the LAFC 2, quick check-in on LAFC 2, and then Philly. We got some exciting news about Angel City, and then we will get to talking about the match. LAFC 2 fell 2-0 to the Benny Feilhaber-coached Sporting Kansas City 2 last weekend. They remain, unfortunately, last place in the West on 7 points through 12 matches. Their next match is on the road Thursday, June 22nd at 7 p.m. against Whitecaps 2, and Philly, will not be driving up to go see that match in Vancouver. That
Live.
Is our LAFC. No lies. That is our LAFC 2-minute. Philly, we've got some exciting stuff about Angel City, though.
Exciting stuff indeed. Not only did they come off of a phenomenal win down at Snapdragon Stadium against the San Diego Wave, but a couple of their players honored with roster spots on the 2023 U.S. Women's World Cup national team. We're going to be seeing Julie Ertz. No surprise there. But who I'm really excited about and who's worth every dollar that you spend on the cost of admission to go see Angel City, Alyssa Thompson. She went from the prom to the pitch, the NWSL's #1 draft pick. She's got a Nike contract. She's one of the leading scorers on this team, and she's going to New Zealand and Australia. And that's not the only person on Angel City that we're going to see in the World Cup. Allie Riley will be a member of New Zealand, which is pretty darn cool. So if you want more of that information, make sure to follow Panda and Nina at Angel City Chicks. Y'all love them on Defenders of the Bank. You'd love them even more on Angel City Chicks. Their banter is even better than what we have here. And if you want to check out Angel City, you could catch myself and Scarf. Their next match, Sunday, June 25th at BMO against the Houston Dash. That is your Angel City Minute.
That's right. All right. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. This one only took 23 minutes. Somebody complained.
Band-Aid. No Band-Aids, man.
No.
No Band-Aids. We're here to drink seltzers and kick ass, and I'm all out of seltzer.
It just means you're going to burp into the mic at some point if you drink it that fast again. Look, here's the deal. Somebody complained about our intros being too long. Well, it's our podcast, and this one only took 23 minutes, so there you go. That being said, Philly, we know when the Rave Green are anywhere around, although sometimes they wear that cool Jimi Hendrix kit or the Bruce Lee kit. They have really cool second kits. Either way, when the Rave Green is in town, it is going to be a tough match. Brian Schmetzer and the Seattle boys are one of the gold standards of the franchises in Major League Soccer. I say one of because we are on that list as well. And this is a club that always gives us a tough time. Our first two matches were against Seattle. We went up there. Our first two, how should I say this? Our first road win and our first home win were both against Seattle. I can take care of myself. Don't worry. I got it. It's only 1:45 in the morning. A 1-0 win up there. A 1-0 win down here. And that's sort of when the rivalry was born. I don't think they knew that they didn't like us until maybe after those two matches. Well, we definitely knew we didn't like them. We've lost to them several times in the playoffs. We, of course, had to go over that hump to win MLS Cup in 2022. And Philly, again, it's one of those games that you and I both circle on our calendar because it is going to be a slugfest every time we play them at home or away. It doesn't matter.
You said it. They've done a lot of things in this league that we envy, and not going to lie, having lost to Leon recently in the CONCACAF Champions League made me look at them with a bit more admiration for being the first MLS team to win the CCL Cup in the current format. Although now that they're changing it from like CCL to CCC again, they're incorporating the winners of the back in the day. So obviously Carson's going to get included in that list. But this is a team that this season has been fairly solid coming into the BMO Stadium. Only 1 point behind us, third place in the West, an 8-6-4 record, 24 goals for, 17 goals against. Very, very stingy defensively. Several clean sheets, solid defenders, and always a tough team to face, Scarf. You said it. You circle them on the calendar because it's always going to be a slugfest. And a lot of LAFC fans have never forgiven Seattle for that Western Conference loss in 2019. That should have been our very first MLS Cup. Many of us feel that, we included. But there's always that hint of revenge. But they haven't beaten us since May the 16th of 2021. So it's been some time since Brian Schmetzer and company have beaten LAFC. Brian Schmetzer was a little thin on the hair. I'd venture to guess that because LAFC is who's on his calendar right now, he's probably losing a few more of those strands. I'd probably guess so. That might be the case. But yes, Seattle Sounders, always a big game, whether at home or on the road. And that game last time we played them, Scarf, it was one of the better 0-0 games we've had ever.
Look, this is a team that we have to be at our best to beat them every single time. And luckily for us, I feel like today, I'll be very real with everybody here. I obviously, if you've listened to our podcast for long enough, I didn't necessarily grow up being a huge soccer fan. I didn't. I grew up baseball, swimming, water polo. I did a lot of other things other than soccer. Turns out that's great because I'm terrible with my feet. But if I would have watched either of our two matches this season in 2012 or 2015 or hell, even 2017, I would have been kind of miserable. I would have, this is why I can't watch soccer. Just one goal scored in 180 plus minutes. What's going on? But no. I've learned, everybody. I've learned because I've watched this game more and more and more over the last 6 years. I have to be honest. These two matches were beautiful. They were chess matches. It was ballerina done at, or ballet, done at its highest form. It was watching Mozart play. It was watching Picasso paint. I really enjoyed these last two matches against Seattle, especially obviously this one, the 1-0 win. More on why in just a little bit, but it was the chess aspect of it. It was such a fun match between Ilie and Joao Paulo in the midfield, between Yeimar on the back line and Giorgio Chiellini on the back line. It was just, there were so many beautiful things. The matchup between Mahala and Nuhu, countrymen from Ghana, going at each other on that one side of the pitch. And of course, Brian Schmetzer and Steve Cherundolo going, piece for piece on the board. It was such a fun match, and I'm just really proud of this club, and I love the way that we played today, Philly.
Spoken very beautifully. I mean, very, very proud indeed. And who else was proud was, it was Filipino Heritage Night. A lot of proud people in the 3252. Labantoyo LAFC. Learned a little bit today. That means fight LAFC, and I hope I said it right. Labantayo LAFC. I think I said it. Labantayo. Yeah. So a perfect day to celebrate going up against the Seattle Sounders, and it was a very impressive performance. Nerve-wracking, to say the least. The unfortunate thing, though, going into the game, we weren't without our best. They were without their best, and that's the part that kind of stinks. But despite not having a full and healthy roster for both sides, these two teams didn't disappoint. They certainly gave each other all that they had, and we were all thoroughly entertained and right off the bat. Unless you have something else, I say we go into the lineups.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Look, we talked about Seattle coming in, playing their typical 4-2-3-1 with Brian Schmetzer at the helm. And you mentioned it, out a ton of guys. Jordan Morris. That's a huge name to be out. One of the premier scorers in Major League Soccer. Christian and Alex Roldan, the brothers. Alex Roldan, by the way, getting a late goal for El Salvador in his international duty. Christian Roldan with the U.S. men's national team, and Xavier Arriaga out on international duty as well. Those are four players that are certainly going to be in the starting lineup if we see them come playoff time. But the guys that we are used to, look, Stefan Fry, I love Stefan Fry. He's one of my favorite keepers to watch because sometimes he helps out the opposition. He's also, look, he's a very good keeper. He just crossed 100 clean sheets for his career. I think he's only, the third keeper to cross 100 clean sheets. The guy is super quality. There are 4 on the back line, Cody Baker and Nuhu on the outside. If you haven't had a chance to watch Nuhu Tolo play defense on the outside, he is so much fun to watch. The guy from Ghana is just unreal. And their center backs, Philly, they're like 2 giant bouncers standing in front of the door at like your favorite Hollywood nightclub. Yemar Gomez Andrade is all of 6'2", about 200 pounds or so. And then you have Jackson Reagan, 6'6", kid from Seattle, just a massive, he's like a house with feet. He's so much fun to watch. Big kid, Seattle product. And again, he's like 23, 24 years old and really come up through the ranks there in Seattle. Fun to watch, Jackson Reagan. In the midfield, Joao Paulo and Obed Vargas. Don't be fooled by his spring training baseball number 73 for Obed Vargas. He is here to stay for sure. At forward spots, Nico Lodiero in his first match since May. He is healthy and ready to go. And of course, it's against us. One of Philly's favorite players, Albert Rusnak, Leo Chu, and of course, as Philly calls him, the Peruvian pistolier himself, one Raul Ruidiaz, who made for some nervous moments today. In the 18, the 5 you want to know about are Reed Baker Whiting, Josh Atencio, Abear, Freddie Montero, the former leading scorer in the history of the Seattle Sounders, and Kellen Rowe. That's the 18. Philly, who do we have for the black and gold?
So just to reiterate what I'm doing right here again, in case you're just joining us right now late in the pod, I'm wearing my Pancho Janela because we're about to talk about our match with the Seattle Sounders. If you wonder what the hell a sounder is, it's not necessarily anything that affects your auditory canal. Named after the Puget Sound, the Seattle Sounders. It rains an awful lot in the Pacific Northwest, hence why I'm wearing my Pancho Janela. Plus, we exercised our option on him, so I figured, hey, I get a double whammy, a 2-for-1. Now, as far as LAFC's lineup is concerned, a very strong lineup picked by Steve Cherundolo. Getting another start in every single game he's getting and every clean sheet that he's earning is a career high for this young man. He's continuing to set records and trends for himself. I'm so proud of the efforts that John McCarthy, number 77, puts in and out the efforts. I love this kid. He's kicking ass and taking names. Our back line, Ryan Hollingshead, Daniil Maldonado, Scarf's favorite player ever, Giorgio Chiellini, and Chiqui Palacios. In the midfield, Mati Bogusz, Ilie Sanchez, and Daniel Crisostomo. Congrats on getting the start, brother. You are working your tail off. You're getting recognized by the coaching staff, and you played big minutes today, almost scoring a goal. More on that later. And up top, Kwadwo Mahala Opoku. He wasn't with the Ghana U22s. Cool. We have Carlos Vela, our captain. 5 goals, 5 assists on the season. Dope. And we have our leading scorer back from Gabon. Fascinating story for you. Not story, fact. Gabon has a population of about 2.4 million people. There are more people probably living down my block right now than live in Gabon. And do not be shocked that they lost to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. That is a country with 95 million people. Quite a disparity. But, I mean, when you have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Denis Bouanga, you'd wonder why they didn't do any better. Anyway, Denis Bouanga's back, y'all. Awesome. Our bench, Eldon, doing his thing as our backup keeper. Can't wait to actually see him again. I like Eldon. Eldon's fun. Stipe Buke, Eric Dueñas, Jose Cifuentes just back from international duty with Ecuador. He was at Subaru Park, not that far away. So that jet lag, not necessarily as bad as you thought it would be. Nathan Ordaz. We have Christopher Jaime coming back up to the big club. Diego Rosales, who we talked about today and we talked about before, and the pelvis himself, wearing my favorite number 80, Julian Gaines. That is LAFC.
Yeah, and again, this was a lineup that we'd have to see some heavy rotation. Obviously, you talked about the people that we would be missing. We got a lot of heavy rotation from Olly on the honorary Falconer flight.
Lord.
Jesus. First of all, Janet Evans as the honorary Falconer, 1988, several gold medals in the Olympics. Janet Evans, as good of a U.S. Olympian swimmer as you will ever see, and an incredible athlete here in Los Angeles, representing the LA 26 Foundation, right? Is that right? I think that's right. Hopefully that's right. It might be wrong. It might be 28. Yeah, I think it's LA 28. Either way, Really, really cool to have Janet Evans in the building, somebody who I looked up to as a swimmer growing up. But once Olly left the arm of Janet Evans, holy crap, Philly, she took us all for a ride. I mean, it looked several times like she was going to make a break for it. But I mean, look, I'll say this, Ken, all it took was one time though, right? She came in, flew at you, grabbed that lure, put it down on the ground. Olly ultimately did her job, but they even started playing her off and having the fans come onto the pitch to do the national anthem and everything else. I don't know for anybody else who was in the stadium at the time, Philly, but you and I both felt it. We were really nervous for Olly there for a minute.
No, I think we got to start taking bets, like the over and under for Olly's flight time. Are we over and under 30 seconds or 45? I'm not sure what a good base would be, but that's a bet worth taking because she's gotten a little feisty in her older age. And you're looking at how, like, the speed and the ferocity that she grabs the lure out of Ken's arm. You'd think his shoulder is going to come out of its socket. Before, she would catch it and he would hold on to it. Now she's practically ripping off his arm and going like halfway across the pitch. So it's been very entertaining seeing Olly develop. God bless her, though. She is a phenomenal bird. We've been up close and in person with her. I even have one of her feathers up there. No joke. You've heard us talk about it. But, yeah, we should have an over and under for Olly's flight time as a new bet at BMO Stadium.
Oh, super nervous time. All right. So, Philly, we had settled into our seats. Opening kickoff. We're getting ready to take notes. And 52, 53, 54 seconds in, depending on who you ask, Monty Bogusz, a player who you and I both had as our pick to click, our player to watch for LAFC. He had to take it himself because Carlos Vela was already offside on the play. And so he takes this curler with his right foot, gets a little help from, it looked like the knee of Jackson Reagan. And let's all be honest, because of the way that Stefan Fry reacted and because of the lack of a real celebration or reaction from Monty Bogusz, Philly, we weren't 100% sure it went in. The only way that I knew it went in is because Yeimar Gomez Andrade absolutely hammers the ball back into the back of the net. And I was like, oh my God, that means it must have gone in. And Monty was a little late in celebrating. We were all a little bit late in celebrating. But the second fastest goal in the history of Los Angeles Football Club, second to only Chicho Arango's 22nd goal. Not his 22nd goal, like number 22, but his goal after 20 seconds of play. Unreal. Philly, if you weren't in your seat for the opening minute of the match, you missed all the scoring.
So normally at the start of a game, I like to go live on Instagram just to give you all a view of what the stadium is like, the surroundings at Tifo, because I know you're not seeing this on Apple TV, and I've got a lot of positive feedback about that, and I've enjoyed doing it. As I'm typing up things and getting ready to upload, 52 seconds is all it took for it to start raining Bogusz. It was raining Bogusz on Stefan Fry. And it was a brilliant play that really developed from the back. Daniil Maldonado connects with Bogusz, who in turn passes it off to Mahala. Mahala, a quick touch, and Bogusz goes from midfield, takes a shot from up front, and just like you said, Jackson Reagan, named after two presidents, maybe to poke fun at him, we could just call him Andrew Ronald for the rest of this podcast. That'd be kind of cool. It did deflect off of him, and you kind of have to wonder how much of that deflection really led into the goal happening, because it curled slightly to the right, extending Stefan Fry's reach and hitting that corner where Fry did not have the advantage or the opportunity to make the save. Had that deflection not occurred off of Andrew Ronald, would it have gone straight, and would Stefan Fry have made the save? I don't know. I don't care. Second fastest goal in franchise history. Like you said, Chicho had that banger 20 seconds in a match against Real Salt Lake, September 12, 2021. He scored two that day. He scored another in the 30th. And for reasons unbeknownst to me, I totally blocked that out of my mind. It must have been because during that time of our history, we were sitting in ninth place. But a tremendous goal for the young man. It obviously gives him that pep in his step, that boost. And now the game all of a sudden opens up in a positive way. Wow, what a goal by Monty Bogusz. It's raining Bogusz.
And look, after the game opened up, you're absolutely right. It opened up, but I don't know if it necessarily opened up in a positive way for LAFC. Seattle their high press and their attack for the next 15, 20, maybe even 25 minutes, I really felt like they controlled the flow of the match over the next 20 minutes or so. They earned a corner in the 4th minute. Raul Ruidiaz, by the way, earning that corner. It went to Ruidiaz on the corner, but his header well high over the bar. And yes, LAFC got a corner there in the 6th minute, and it was that same play almost that Ryan Hollingshead scored on with that standing header into the box. But this one, he was much farther out from goal, his header well high. And then it was a lot of Seattle really playing downhill. Ruidiaz keeping us honest with a shot just wide of the far post. J-Mac made a diving attempt at it, but he realized he didn't need to touch it for it to go all the way out. That same spot, by the way, on that electric ribbon board, Philly, we've seen Denny Bwanga absolutely hammer that once, and now Raul Ruidiaz takes it out as well. I don't know what's going on with that one spot there on the board, but it has certainly seen better days. And again, Philly mentioned it. He's my favorite LAFC player of all time, Giorgio Chiellini. In the 11th minute, the first of several times you are going to hear us talk about how whether it's the head of Giorgio Chiellini, the legs of Giorgio Chiellini, or the brain of Giorgio Chiellini, I think Justin Ruderman, our buddy who's there in the press conferences with us, the journalist Justin Ruderman, he called it a masterclass in defending by Giorgio today, and he was absolutely right. Giorgio Chiellini, I love him so much.
Had he not been in the box to intercept a cross that would have landed directly in front of Raul Ruidiaz, who had a gaping wide open gap to score, we're looking at a tie game relatively early. Giorgio Chiellini did make a tremendous play in that 11th minute, but let's also not forget, in that 8th minute, that shot by Raul Ruidiaz came as a result of a Giorgio Chiellini turnover. Masterclass defensively, but a couple of mistakes, which we won't obviously discount him for because it's Giorgio Chiellini. Couple of cheeky Palacios, 18th minute, had himself a cheeky chip that floated right into the hands of Stefan Fry. 21st minute, Mahala got a really good look outside of the box, but he missed. And then over the 22nd and the 23rd minute, a little bit of a cuticle chomping time. Awesome ball movement. Ball comes into Leo Chu, who's the leading assist man on this team. Great pass into Ruidiaz, who gets a shot saved by J-Mac. And a lot of the buildup there was missed because we had this kid in a sombrero dancing without a shirt on that took all the attention off of the game. I think a lot of the LAFC players focused on what was going on in the Jumbotron and missed that beautiful buildup. So that's the story there. 23rd minute, Ruidiaz again gets robbed of another potentially inevitable goal. J-Mac was there, a beautiful cross into the box by Vargas, but Ryan Hollingshead is there to clean up the trash. Couple of really good looks, and the Peruvian Pistolier certainly chomping at the bit to score in this match.
Philly, that would be it, though. That would be it for Seattle. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to jump all the way to the end of the match, obviously, but did they have another shot on target for the entire rest of the match?
And honestly, they didn't really have that many more shots in between the first half and the second half. John McCarthy doing that infamous Julie the Cat Gaffney thing from Mighty Ducks 2. I am bored. John is really bored. He had no other shots on target after that.
Look, this is I get, right? They're missing the Roldan brothers. They're missing Jordan Morris. But this is a really talented club. Albert Rusnak knows what he is doing in terms of scoring goals and setting up his teammates. Nico Lodiero back onto the pitch for the first time in forever. Abear, who scored a ton of goals for NYCFC before coming over. And of course, look, no one needs to hype up Raul Ruidiaz, one of the premier scorers in this league. But look, were we ever comfortable throughout the 90 minutes? No. Not for 1 minute. Thank you very much. Not at all. I only use the very front portion of my seat. And people in the 3052, let me explain to you what a seat is during the games. It's every now and then you get to relax and you don't have to stand up and cheer. That's why I love the 3252 so much. They're like, seat, that's adorable, dummy. We don't do that. We don't sit. We just chant. A seat. Tell me about the little portion of the seat that you use. We don't even have a portion of a seat to use. I love those guys so much. 3252, you guys are the best. Look, this is what I'm talking about this club right now. When we are clicking on all cylinders, Philly just talked about 2 saves by John McCarthy in the 22nd and 23rd minute. There are 67 minutes plus stoppage time still to go, and we will not talk about John McCarthy making a save for the entire rest of the match. That is a huge testament. Guys, we had two healthy center backs coming into this match. And look, with Giorgio Chiellini, health is a relative term at this point, right? We're never 100% sure if Giorgio Chiellini is 100% healthy. He's probably not. But between Danilo Maldonado staying on his feet and Giorgio Chiellini using his brain, it was a masterclass in defending today. We went 67 minutes after what Philly just talked about without allowing a shot on target. Now, granted, we didn't really get that many shots on target either in this match, but quality over quantity, at least for now. It's easy to say when you win. If we would have lost this match, we would have been talking about LAFC doesn't shoot enough. LAFC isn't generating enough opportunities, but we generated enough to win. And like Steve said, right, it was a small step forward, but we didn't do a whole lot offensively. We did a whole lot defensively, though.
That's true. I mean, there was one play in the 28th minute where Mahala fed Daniel Crisostomo, and he got so stinking close to finding the back of the net. He just missed it narrowly. I wanted so badly for him to get that goal. It would have been perfect. He's been working his ass off, spent a vast majority of his career playing in the USL, earning himself some more minutes. He did so under Bob. He's doing so now under Steve. And it would have been such a beautiful insurance goal for us. Because you're right. With Rui Diaz knocking on John McCarthy's door, part of you had to think they would inevitably get the equalizer, especially with the way Raul was playing. So that goal would have been fantastic, but it was no goal. 2 minutes later, Matej Bogusz, a brilliant feed into the box, but it gets misdirected by Ryan Hollingshead. And that would sort of be a theme for Ryan all throughout the first half, because then a minute later, Carlos Vela gets a beautiful ball in the box off of a corner. And by the way, we look significantly better on our set pieces this game.
So much better.
So much better. But Ryan misses it again. He's got the wrong piece of his head on it. That sounds kind of weird, but you'd think he was getting closer too. I loved how aggressive he was, and with these balls into the box, that's another weird thing to say. We certainly looked a lot more threatening in positions where we haven't really been threatening in a couple of our previous matches.
Yeah, Philly, I think the only player all season that you can say he got the wrong part of his head on the ball would be Aaron Long on that goal that was called back, because
yes,
underneath where he hit it, there were stitches and stuff. Ted Uncle rearing his ugly head in the 35th minute with a soft yellow card to one Mahala Opoku.
He had a temper tantrum. Scarf Mahala sort of deserved that. He did not need to throw that temper tantrum on the it was just a play that he thought it should have been LAFC ball. I think it was kind of warranted.
Listen, all I know is Ted Uncle's definitely heard a lot worse from a lot of other players, judging by the way that he has officiated for most of the matches in his career. So I don't know. 35th minute seemed a little early. How about Giorgio Chiellini again in the 37th minute, this time with a header to break up across. The long throw into the box was defended well by Ryan Hollingshead, and the corner then subsequently defended after that. You mentioned Danny Crisostomo. And in the 42nd minute, he earned us another corner with a dive into the box. Once he took that ball, he really went at goal. And again, I don't think he's going at goal, by the way, to try and score. I think he's looking to set up his teammates. But in this case, he was looking just to play the ball off of the defender, which he did for a corner. Really impressed. That's at least the second corner that he's earned for us so far here in the first half. And I just loved there was a little battle in the midfield between Ilie Sanchez and Joao Paulo there nearing the end of the first half. 44th minute, Philly. I don't think Stefan Fry saw that shot clearly from Cheeky Palacios, because Stefan Fry was moving towards that post on the west side of the field there, but the shot was curling in the opposite direction, and you could tell Fry was a little relieved there, Philly, as we head into stoppage time, that ball went over the bar from Cheeky Palacios.
It came very close. Ilie had that nice feed into Cheeky, and it was a floater that seemed to hang on for a long time. And you're right. It would have caught Stephen Fry snoozing and put him in a very Tyler Miller-esque scenario, allowing a goal because of a lack of focus, so to speak. But unfortunately, that doesn't come through. We go into stoppage time, not very much there. We did have a beautiful run and great passing from Mati Bogusz to Denny Bwanga, but he missed the target. Had he looked to connect to Carlos was wide open on the right. Obviously, he didn't see him. He wanted to go out there and score another banger. But kudos to Mati Bogusz for finding him. It was a brilliant play, but nothing transpired after that. And Uncle blows the whistle. And it's nice to not have Uncle be that big of a part in our matches. I feel like he always calls games unfairly against us. He was fine in the first 45, fine in the second 45. And I would say it was a very good, entertaining first half. LAFC was very solid on both sides of the ball. And I got to say, I really enjoyed these minutes. It was nerve-wracking for a little while with Rui Diaz. I would have enjoyed it more had we gotten a convert on another goal, mainly by Daniel Crisostomo. But we go into the half, 9 shots to their 7, one shot on target to their 2. Possession more or less the same. Both teams passing quite well. But the vast majority of the statistics for this game occurred within the first 45 minutes. The Sounders, out of Seattle, place that rains a lot. Sounders being a body of water, kind of dried up when it came down to like their ability to play. So as a result of them not really having much offense in the 45 minutes, it's no longer raining Seattle, baby. My Poncho Janela comes off because it's really hot in this room.
That was a long build-up to the kind of dried up line there. I like that. I wanted to see if you could make it all full pod with you wearing a poncho. That was fun though. You really
Poncho Janela. It's trademark.
Sorry, excuse me. The trademark Poncho Janela. Philly, 48th minute. We earned a really fun corner. We couldn't do anything with it, but 2 nutmegs in a row, and then a nice little move, but ultimately nothing. We looked, Dave, you mentioned it though. I would love to know in the 75 minutes of training these guys get each week in between games, right? I would love to know how much they worked on set pieces because they looked absolutely lethal on set pieces today. Look, 1 or 2 for Seattle looked good too, but really happy with the way we looked. In the 51st minute, it's Danilo Maldonado hustling all the way back. And I mean all the way back. I think it was to get to Leo Chu, who was coming on that same left-hand side. Thank goodness you stayed on your feet, Danilo. I was so worried. I mean, look, I'm sure you got chewed out by the coaching staff. I'm sure you've watched the replay of the film several times.
And listen to Defenders of the Bank.
Yeah, and hopefully listen to us.
With the S&P option.
There you go. Did you say S&P or SAP?
Did I say S&P? I guess I've been really working too hard if I said the S&P.
You're bringing your work life into the pod. I like it.
No wonder I tried to plug in a bottle of Topo Chico earlier.
Did you tell that whole story? Did I miss it? Was I not paying attention?
No, I didn't tell that story.
Okay. Can we just pause for a moment real quick? I really wanted Philly to bring this up on the pod. And you know what? What the hell? We're 53 minutes in. We're right in the middle of talking about the second half. This is one of those smooth segues you only get here on Defenders of the Bank. Philly, would you mind just sharing with the millions
and millions
the story that you voluntarily told me as we were up in Founders Club today pre-match?
I'm tired, Defenders. It's no joke. If we're tired doing podcasts, Lord knows how our players are feeling, but we've been doing an awful lot, burning the oil on both sides between the day jobs and the pods.
Wait. You did one of those wonderful Philly things where you combine two euphemisms. You either burn the candle at both ends or you burn the midnight oil, but you're burning the oil at both ends. And I love that so much. Philly, we talk about this all the time. It's the best thing ever. Oh, Philly, go on. Tell us how tired you are. Go on.
It's only 2:15 in the morning on Thursday. It's not like, we have a day job. I'm leaving the office to get home to change to get out to BMO. And I wanted to make sure I plugged my iPhone in so I could, garner some music and get some jippus. Not like I really need it. My office is 1.5 miles down the road from my house. But hey, you never know. Traffic, right? I go to plug in my phone. And for reasons unbeknownst to me, I'm trying to plug it into like an empty bottle of Topo Chico. And I'm doing this. Like I literally it went clink. I'm like, oh. And at that point, I realized, oh, I'm really tired if I'm trying to charge Topo Chico. The Topo Chico was empty. Maybe subconsciously, I thought that the battery power would give me more water. I don't know, but one more sleep that we do the 24 hours before the game really needs to start turning into need more sleep. And we're certainly going to get more of that after the July 15th away game against Minnesota United. But these Wednesday, Saturday things, I'm sure y'all are feeling a little bit fatigued as well. I can't be the only one trying to charge their empty bottle of Topo Chico in their car adapter.
Well, you want to talk about smooth segues. Definitely not fatigued in the 55th minute was the 32-52. I wrote this in my notes. I felt like, I don't know where it came from. I don't know what was going on in that 55th minute, but between the drums and the volume and the chanting, I honestly felt Founders Club shake. I felt BMO shake. The 32-52 in the 55th minute, just when at a time where you could tell maybe LAFC going into a little bit of a lull on the pitch, maybe they needed a little bit of extra something. The 32-52 in the 55th minute, they were as loud as I have heard at any point during the season. And that includes, obviously, the Champions League final. That includes any of the other matches we've played. 32-52 in the 55th minute was just, man, I just looked over and I was like, everybody in that section, just all together. And I don't know why I noticed a little bit more this match, but all the female capos were just on another level. Just I saw our good buddy Kobe. He was chewing a couple people out for not getting on their feet and getting loud, and it really inspired me. Like I have people sitting right behind me, so they're actually sitting. I don't know these people. It wasn't our regular people that are sitting behind us, so I couldn't just stand up. But it was so cool to literally feel the 32-52's presence in that stadium there in the 55th minute.
I'm glad that's what it was, because I just thought I was getting really dizzy. If that's what you felt, then cool. Now I don't have to worry about delirium tremens and weird things. I wouldn't have had to worry about delirium tremens anyway. I haven't had a drop of booze in almost 7 weeks. Amazing.
Right.
But that's not the only thing that happened in the 55th minute. At one point, there was contact in the box, and I couldn't exactly tell which Seattle Sounder was in the box, but they were there for a little while, and I was terrified at that moment. I immediately looked at Ted Uncle to see what he would do, whether he would blow his whistle, stop play, and try to give a penalty in the box. I was a little afraid, but sigh of relief, there was no Uncle effect on that. So you caught the 55th minute energy of the 32-52. I caught a near anxiety attack when I thought Ted Uncle was going to call a foul, but we move on.
And that was Raul Ruidiaz there in the box. So somebody who definitely has the penchant for earning those type of calls. But Philly, just when I think I start to know Ted Uncle, he goes and totally redeems himself. They're in the 57th minute, just after that play where he motions for Raul Ruidiaz to get up. He absolutely lets LAFC lay the lumber to Seattle. Both Ryan Hollingshead and Daniil Maldonado with some bone-jarring hits out there. I mean, anybody out there who says that soccer is a non-contact sport, watch the 57th minute as Ryan Hollingshead and Daniil Maldonado absolutely lay out their respective Seattle counterparts. In the 59th minute, Carlos Vela with a fantastic steal, but Denis just couldn't make that final pass. Denis was just a little bit off tonight. I think Denis was tired. I think Denis needs a little bit of a rest. I think he's been tired for these last. You guys have to remember, Denis wasn't just wearing a backpack for the beginning of this season. He was absolutely carrying every aspect of this offense for several weeks in a row. And I think it just kind of caught up to him a little bit. I think he's tired. And there we see in the 59th minute, after we see Denis kind of slow up and he's not able to make that play, they make the call. They sub Stipe Buke in for Denis Bouanga. I think everyone was a little surprised to see 99 go up on that board, coming out for 7. But look, Denis wasn't even upset. I mean, he really wasn't. He got subbed out on the opposite end of the pitch. And what I thought was really cool, and you and I watched him, Philly, he walked all the way down towards the north end, high-fiving everybody who was around, walked all the way down the length there of the north end, high-fiving people, I mean, the only thing I didn't see him do is take pictures and sign autographs. He was really taking his time. But, I mean, it looked like Philly right there at about the hour mark. It was time for Denis to come off.
Memories, 99 coming off for 7. At one point in our lives, that would have been Dio and Latif Blessing. So crazy, even though it hasn't really been that long. It seems like it's been forever and a day before we could think before Adama Diomande and Latif Blessing were on our team. Obviously, Latif more recently than Dio, but you just say that, and that's instantly like where my head goes. I'm glad, though, that the number 99 is worn by such a prolific scorer. I love that. And there are elements about number 7 currently that I do appreciate, but this number 7 has not captured our hearts, in my opinion, as much as the previous number 7 did. But that being the case, he's not a designated player, and he's still a kid who's got a lot of tremendous potential and a lot of upside. So, yes, Stipe Biu coming into the game for Denis Bouanga. And we'll go to the 66th minute. Chiellini with a great pass to Cheeky, and he just tries to connect, but there's nobody there. And at one point, you got to credit Daniil Maldonado, had a great defensive play, breaking up a cross that could have inevitably turned into another Seattle Sounders goal. I think Daniil is very solid, and I think there is a lot of upside for him as well. He's aggressive, and I think he takes a lot of chances and risks that are high risk, high reward. And obviously, we've seen a couple of them where it was high risk and no reward. But credit on that. 70th minute, Bogusz had a shot from just outside of the box directly in the hands for Fry. And much to my surprise, again, because he was on international duty not that long ago, a mere 24 hours with Ecuador at Subaru Park. For those who don't know, that's in the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. Jose Cifuentes subs in for our captain, Carlos Vela.
Yeah, you mentioned it. And Philly, again, I'm going to check with you on the stats. Mati Bogusz there with a shot on target in the 70th minute. Did we have another shot on target for the rest of the match?
Oh, yeah, we'll keep that in mind. We'll reference it later.
All right, we'll reference that in a little bit. But yeah.
Well, it went right to Fry one way or another. Whether they thought it was a pass, I don't know. But it was a shot from outside the box that landed in the hands of Fry. So,
yeah.
What do I know? Hold on. I know somebody who would know, Scarf. I know somebody who would know.
We're in the 70th. We're so close to being done. We're in the 70th minute.
It's Coach Beard.
Wow. Hi, Coach.
It's Coach Beard with a hula hoop. Did you think that was a shot on target?
No, yeah. I'm agreeing that was a shot. I'm saying, did we have another one after that? Oh, God. He's talking to a
We'll check later. He's wearing his pants and he's hula hooping. You know what he was doing during that scene.
He's had a night for sure. Look, your wife Panda was the one that pointed out that during the Kaiser Permanente who's in, who's out report, Jose Cifuentes was listed as out. That was a few hours before the match. He's very much in. That's what she said. In the 73rd minute, Reed Baker-Whiting and Kellen Rowe coming on for Nico Lodiero and Cody Baker. So they both come out. And Philly, 76th minute, I got to say, I was so happy. Mati Bogusz lines up for a free kick, and it is a perfect ball into the box. And I had all kinds of poetic lines written about Jose Cifuentes and how this might be only 2 or 3 more matches left. Is this going to be his final goal? And then my dad, who's watching the game at home, calls me and he goes, yeah, that's definitely coming back. That's a handball. So look, it was a beautiful set piece. Obviously the handball notwithstanding, that is exactly what we need. But Philly, you and I started off the top of this episode wishing a happy birthday to one Jonathan Reimer. Jonathan Reimer came up with an idea, or at least a suggestion. I don't even know if it was his idea, but he's the one that told me, so I'm going to give him the credit for it. See, Philly, every time we score a goal in the North End, you mentioned it, you had your poncho on earlier, there are beer showers. There are beer showers throughout the North End every time we score a goal, and that goal was a beautiful goal, and especially with it happening down on the South End, nobody could really see the ball being hit off of the hand of Jose Cifuentes. Now, look, in the 76th minute at BMO Stadium, they've already stopped serving alcohol. So I'm going to amend Jonathan's idea here a little bit, but I'm going to say this. Heineken, hey, listen, coming close real quick for all of you people over at Heineken. We know that you listen. We know you guys are big fans of the pod. You're also a massive sponsor for all things Major League Soccer and LAFC. Here's what I propose during the 60th minute and prior. If there is a goal that is disallowed by VAR, every member of the 3252 in the North End should be able to go to that long bar in the back and get a refill of their beer for free. Because what we know they have done with that beer is they have tossed it into the air in a beer shower, not micheladas. So for all you jerks out there that do the michelada showers, joke's on you. You just wasted a michelada. But for all of you out there, Dos Equis, Heineken, whatever they have back there at that bar, I think every member of the 3252 that's of age before the 60th minute should be able to go get a refill because VAR took a goal away. Philly, your thoughts?
I'm speechless. I think that's a brilliant idea, and I completely agree with it. Why the heck not? I think
Jonathan
it's lovely.
Reimer. That's the boozologist figuring things out. That's what he does.
Guys, that's a smart human being.
He is. Philly, we are almost home. We are now at the Philly minute, the 80th minute, where we have Nuhu with a beautiful cross, but the header is just high, a little bit of a sigh of relief. And I really did think, okay, VAR just took the goal away. Now Seattle's going to feel like they've got a second chance at it, a third bite at the cherry, as Max Bretos likes to say. But, ooh, that was a close one.
What the hell? How big is this cherry?
It's like a
third bite of a cherry.
It's like a Zava avocado. Okay, think of it that way.
Maybe like I don't know, like a grapefruit. I don't know, cherry, like little teeth. It's like chipmunk bite.
Listen, it's Max who says it, not me.
Ucha Magooch.
Studio. In the 81st minute, Josh Atencio and Abear come on for Joao Paulo and Leo Chu, which to me made them significantly less threatening on the attack. Also threatening was a nice cross into the box by LAFC in the 83rd minute, but alas, no scarf goal on the day. Philly, 86th minute, we really wanted Mati to put that one home.
Yep, he gets fed quite nicely in the box, but he overshoots it. Ryan Hollingshead could have picked himself up an assist, but Mati just a little too much mustard behind that. And you're going to love the analysis I had in the 87th minute. It was clearly well thought out. As I'm going through this, I'm cackling to myself because in the 87th minute, I don't have notes for exactly what happened. My thought process and my verbiage in my notes in the 87th minute, nearly pooped.
Here we go. Nearly.
Seattle put us in a situation that made me nearly poop.
That's all it says.
Nearly pooped.
I love it.
I crap you not.
I will explain what happened. Raul Ruidiaz put Danilo Maldonado in the popcorn machine. And then after he gets past Danilo Maldonado, the ball takes a deflection or two and a dangerous cross goes all the way across the mouth of the goal. Philly, if anybody wearing Rave Green would have been anywhere near any parts of the ball that traveled through, I mean, that would have been the easiest goal for anybody there. Kind of like Mahala later on in the match, but more on that in a minute. It definitely, Philly, was poop inducing. That was the closest, I think, that they would go at goal for the rest of the match. Freddie Montero would come in for Raul Ruidiaz soon after that play, and Nathan Ordaz and Eric Duenas coming in for Danny Crisostomo and Mati Bogusz. The level of play that we got from both Danny Crisostomo and Mati Bogusz today was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. The level of depth on this club is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Giorgio helping to clear the line right before stoppage time. And then Philly, I thought we'd see maybe 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage time because of the VAR, but no, my friends. We are getting a full 7. That's right. 7 minutes of stoppage time. And in that first minute, Philly, Nathan or Daz, what you did to Nuhu. And then Nuhu tried to either trip him or grab him on the way by. And Nate was already going by so fast. He was beep, beep, zoom out of there. Nathan or Daz, it was so much fun to watch you absolutely cook Nuhu, Nate. Man, just the things that you have been able to do this season, Nathan Ordaz, I find myself rooting harder and harder for this kid every single match. But luckily, Jose Cifuentes was there to turn the ball back over to Seattle. But that being said, beautiful job by Nathan Ordaz in the first minute.
Yeah, I mean, we had 6 more. The reaction Steve Cherundolo had, very subtle. You probably wouldn't see it on the replay. I mean, we were looking right at Steve. It was kind of funny. He was as perplexed as the two of us were at 7 minutes. Yeah, sure, there was the VAR, but was there really 7 minutes warranted for the stoppage time? That was a bit excessive. There was a very nice build-up and a very brilliant pass into Mahala, and somehow, he Christian Ramirez the hell out of it. No. He Christian Ramirez and Brian Rodriguez the hell out of it. How he missed that wide open. It could have been a little off the side of the foot. He wound up and blasted it, and it went, it would have hit Olly on the top of her flight in the south end. That was a bit unfortunate because, he wanted it. Obviously, he was emphatic and with authority is how he connected, but he belted the stitching out of the ball way into the stratosphere, what should have been a lighter bump and a goal. Christian Ramirez and Rayito the hell out of it.
Listen, Philly, Mahalo Poku is trying to keep his options open. I believe training camp for the Los Angeles Rams is going on over these next couple of weeks. We all know how valuable field goal kickers are in the NFL. That one would have made it from at least 30, 35 yards out. Absolute sitter. We should have won this match 2-0. We did not win the match 2-0, but soon after, good old Ted Uncle does blow that whistle, and an all-night chess match leads to 3 points for LAFC. Look, we talked about Philly, and this is where it helps to have a producer like Panda or Nina helping us out. We don't have that right now, so we're not going to even worry about bringing up the chart.
It's also 2:30 in the morning.
It's 2:32 in the morning on June 22nd. But if you go back and look,
great Scott.
Go back and look at the Sporting Kansas City possession chart. They do it in 5-minute intervals, and it was like somebody broke the intervals. The entire second half was just Sporting Kansas City the entire time. I love, go look at the Seattle one. It's literally LAFC, Seattle, LAFC, Seattle, LAFC, Seattle, LAFC, Seattle. It was as back and forth. It makes it look like as much of the chess match that it was. This was a match that, again, I think if I were watching in 2012 or 2015 or 2017, I wouldn't have seen anywhere near of the level of performance just from my untrained, naked, dumb soccer fan eye that I had back then. I was just so impressed with these two clubs. It was punch, counter punch. It was attack, counter. It was so much fun to watch, and a massive 1-0 win on a night where Philly St. Louis loses and obviously Seattle loses. Those are the two teams that we have been kind of locked up with in a battle over the course of this first half of the season. So Philly, I'm gonna let you get in the stats in a minute, but the most important stat is here we are halfway through the season, 32 points from 17 matches alone at the top of the Western Conference.
Yeah. Crisis mode. What? Not much in terms of stats from the first 45 to the second 45. We were sitting on top of 9 shots with 1 on target. Seattle was sitting on top of 7 shots with 2 on target. Here's how it turned out. LAFC ended up finishing with 13 shots with 2 on target. That's 4 shots, 1 more on target. Seattle, no shots on target in the second half and only 3 more shots. That is a testament to how well the defense played. John McCarthy didn't have anything to do in the second half, and that's huge. While he obtained his 6th clean sheet of his career, a lot of that should be attributed to the fact that our defense has been good and our defense has been depleted. I mean, we're utilizing Giorgio Chiellini a full 90 minutes. We're as old as Giorgio Chiellini. No, I should say, take that back. He's nearly as old as us, as Giorgio Chiellini. Can't rely on this, and it's not sustainable for another 17 games. Oh, no. Unless Giorgio Chiellini somehow inherited Zlatan Ibrahimovic statistics, he could be due for some wear and tear. We need to get some more depth in our center back position. But when we see Giorgio and Daniil operating, they did beautiful things. Cheeky Palacios had himself a pretty good game. Ryan Hollingshead, with the exception of some misdirections on set pieces off of his head, also looked fairly solid in this game. I mean, clean sheet, 6-1 for John McCarthy. He only has about 94 more to go to catch up to Stephen Fry.
Look, we allowed 10 total shots for Seattle and an expected goals of 0.5. 0.5. I mean, I don't know how that can be, by the way, with those 2 saves that John McCarthy made. It looked like they were a little bit more than 0.5. But either way, The defense that this club is playing right now is incredible. I think they're top 3 now in goals allowed with 16 through
Yeah,
17 matches.
absolutely. 7 shutouts in 17 matches, 16 goals. Yeah, third lowest total in the league. That's impressive.
It is really impressive, especially because of how offensively talented this club is as well. Look, we normally look at the Supporters Shield race, but Cincinnati is doing some things right now. They're 11 points up with one. We have one match in hand, so we got some work to do there. Philly, we do play at home against Vancouver on the 24th. That's Saturday. That's just a little more than 48 hours from right now. And then we actually have a week off, Philly.
Get out of here.
We played Dallas July 1st. We played Dallas July 1st after playing on June 24th. Absolutely blows my mind that we don't have a Wednesday game somewhere in between all of that stuff. I know that the universe will likely conspire to put something on that Wednesday just to mess with us. But either way, Philly, it'll be nice to have a little bit of time to recharge the old batteries.
Yeah. One more sleeps need to start turning into need more sleeps.
Yep. Philly, look, this is a fun one. 1-0 win, 2-match win streak. And now we have a team that, look, they're coming here and they're probably thinking it's revenge season on their minds, right? We hastily and pretty easily whooped them out of the CONCACAF Champions League, both in their place and in ours, 3-0, 3-0. Look, I don't know that we're going to see 3-0 again, but this is certainly a club that will help it, hopefully, make it be 3-0 in terms of wins in our last 3 games. Looking forward to this match against Vancouver.
Yeah, it was. We get to see Tristan Blackman come back to BMO Stadium. It'll always be good. I just want to say the last thing. Like, you figure, I really thought Seattle would have given a little bit more offensive gumption, considering the fact that they've really been off since like June 10th. 3-3 game against Charlotte was their last outing. But they played like they haven't been they didn't play in a long time. That being said, they're always going to be dangerous. So hats off to Brian Schmetzer and company and everybody who came in from Seattle. Thank you. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
All right. With that, happy birthday, Jonathan. Yeah.
No. Happy birthday, Jonathan, indeed. But I still got, one more thing I got to say, but you carry on.
Oh, you said you had one last thing to say, so go right ahead. Say it.
Well, first of all, you know how much we love special guests on this podcast. And I know what you're thinking. No, she's sleeping, Scarf. It's 2:40 in the morning. But somebody who is always awake and wanted me to say something, and he reminded me, is
oh boy,
Space Jam Taz. He wanted me to tell you all. No, what he really wanted to remind me of is to let you guys know that we are the trailblazing, MLS Cup raising, always competing, Sounders beating, goal scoring, rip roaring, styling and smiling, black and gold wearing, hate on us because you can't stop swearing, defending champions of Major League Soccer and the first place team in the Western Conference. And don't you forget it.
How tired are you that you bring Space Jam Taz onto the episode?
Delusional, Scarf. Delusional.
I love you, buddy.
They're coming to take me away. They're coming.
We are going to celebrate Jonathan's birthday with him later on today, Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. And look, for all of you out there, you guys know how we like to end all of our episodes.
Bye-bye. Crap.
Hit the button.